Salute to the members. Salute to the genuine supporters. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody watching this from behind the scenes. Salute to everybody who catch this on the replay. It's your host / DJ Holla. We in the building. Trooper, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate it. Yeah, so I just want to get up on here real quick, talk about something I've seen. And a salute to Amanda Diva. You know what I'm saying? I know some people may know her as Amanda Seals, but I know her as Amanda Diva. And I'll give you a little backstory. Friend of the family, over 20 years probably now, I know Amanda Diva, you know what I'm saying? When I was into the the whole industry thing, the music thing. But we kind of had different ideologies as time went on. She got into the industry and I was kind of anti-industry. But this I think it's a debate. I don't know what it is. Where she goes back and forth with different people about political issues and stuff about black people. And I was like, there you go, Amanda Diva. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's the Amanda Diva I know. But salute to Amanda Seals. I'm proud of you, all your success and things of that nature. But this is what I remember. You know what I'm saying? She, did a great job. But anyway, let me play this clip real quick. Now, a lot of people, FBA, I'm FBA, but for me personally, it just means, American Negro or, black people from America. But there's a lot of politics that go into that. People feel like FBA is this, FBA is that. But for me, it's just a lineage. It's just a title. Some people subscribe to black. You know what I'm saying? Some people subscribe to African American. Some people subscribe to, whatever they subscribe to. And I'm not here to get into the no debate and all that. I'm not really with the African American label, but it is what it is. As far as the whole FBA thing is more is more specific, because any African American can be someone who was not born from descendants of slaves. You have ADOS, you have the freedmen and things of that nature. But I'm not here to fight over names and all of that. But I seen this clip here that I'm about to play, and let me play the clip first. Hold on. One second.
You guys don't ever do this. KTS.
You
Dre,
guys don't ever do that.
KTS
Who is
Dre.
you guys?
Members of the black community that want to hold people accountable, especially black people. You guys, you earlier said BLM
Stop
is about
referring
police.
to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? What do you mean by that? I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa. But I grew up around black people, and there was a black community where I lived.
And that black community that you lived in, did they teach you about black history in the United States? Like, are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
No, because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes.
You're not even a black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of black Americans.
Amen. Now, this young man was on here, spewing a bunch of rhetoric. I don't think he has studied, FBA history, Black American history, Negro American history, or whatever you want to call it. And you know, he comes from a, you know, an immigrant family, you know, from Africa, Angola, and he was very, very judgmental about, you know, our culture, FBA culture. And a lot of people do that. They say, you know, FBA culture is toxic, and but they only take the worst of the culture and they ignore the rest of the culture. They only take, drug dealers, single parent homes, no father, gang members, addiction. They take all of the worst parts, and then they say this is black culture. This is our culture. This is FBA culture. So they forget about all of the the good things, the great, the things we did for the country, the accomplishments, our middle and upper class, the people who actually go to school and try to live a regular life, tax paying citizen. And that's the majority. The minority is the drug dealers and blah blah. That's the minority. But they always take the worst of us, and they try to apply it to the whole culture. Miss Pamela. So so sometimes people like this are called tethers, and people who are not from the not FBA, they're called tethers. And then you have people who are cool. This is why a lot of people subscribe to the FBA, the delineation, because when you say, a lot of times when you say black culture, is who are you referring to when you say black culture? Some people are referring to FBA when they say black culture. They're not including all so-called black people in America, like people from the Caribbean, people from Africa. They call that Caribbean culture. They call that African culture. So when people say black culture, people in their mind, they get a picture of FBA black Americans. Right, Miss Pamela, right. And in every culture, they have drug dealers, criminals, gang members, every culture, but they don't seem to focus on that. Like, you have the Italians, you have the mafia, they kind of glorified that. You have your Latin cultures where you have the narcos, the drug kingpins, and they glorify this stuff. But this is not our culture. This is American culture. This is what we are products of our environments. See, my folk didn't come from gangsters and criminals and things of that. They came from God-fearing Christian folk from the South. So that this is not our culture. This culture we picked up, like gangs of New York. Those are the first gangs, like gang culture and stuff like that. But they made a movie out of that. You know what I'm saying? They glorified that. But when we do it, they stereotype. They make it look like we the ones who created this culture. And a lot of people come from immigrants coming to the country. And they say, oh, y'all drug dealers, y'all on drugs. But some of these countries that y'all come from, the drugs come from these countries. Your governments are corrupt. Your politicians are corrupt. Just like here. But, they seem to blame FBA or black Americans for all of this foolishness. Now, I'm not here to like play the victim. It's things that we can do, to help ourselves and stuff, and we have been doing it. We have been doing it. Our people, came through slavery, then segregation, Jim Crow, civil rights. We've done it. We haven't just sat around and complained and played the victim. And a lot of the things we did, and a lot of people are benefiting off of. A lot of immigrants, they benefit off of the fight our people fought, and then they come here and they get privileges and stuff, and they tell us we need to fight, we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. They came over here with not 2 pennies to rub together, and they made it, and they doing better than us and all of that. But that's only because they're using these benefits and programs that our people marched and fought and died for. Right, Miss Pamela, right. So people always seem to point out, the worst of our culture or the worst of our people, and welcome to America. But anyway, salute to Amanda. She always stood on, fighting for black people, and of all black people, the whole diaspora. She's not FBA, but she she fights for all people. But first of all, so some people be called, are called tethers, and not all. That doesn't mean immigrants. That doesn't mean all immigrants. That just means people who undermine our fight and our struggle. Because our fight and our struggle is not a black fight and struggle. It's not an FBA fight and struggle. It's a civil rights, it's an American fight and struggle. So the things we did benefited America, not just us.